Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad you guys are joining me today over here on Uniquely Us. And this is a Frank's Take video where I take a moment, we highlight an issue. And today I actually have somebody here that is going to help contribute to that, help provide some more information and insight on this topic of the trail derailment that took place in Ohio in eastern or East Palestine. But more than that, there's other derailments that have been taking place. But we want to go ahead and get an opportunity to kind of investigate this a little bit further and shine a light on what's currently going on there in Ohio and what the impact is on the people and the animals and the environment, what's currently going on there. And of course, we know there's been a major blackout of this story, in which the story took place almost 2 weeks ago. And it's just now getting some type of traction. And joining me to discuss all these things is River from Right Left of Center. Hey, River, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Frank. Thank you for having me on. It's a delight to be back on with you again. I am here because I have very close family that are only a few miles outside of the 1 to 2 mile radius that they had people evacuate from. And we have been in a lot of contact, and I tell you, it's been a very, very scary situation. I know that I'm not comfortable with the small evacuation zone that they had. There are credible reports of animals dying, and also fish kill. There's an article, the ODNR estimates that 3,500 fish have been killed by the East Palestine train derailment spill. And
and it impacts those streams that are around that area, and of course the immediate bodies of water around there. So there could be a lot of concern because of what's the chemicals that spill off. Correct.
And I'm also concerned that these streams are going to dump into the Ohio River. Because these creeks, we're looking at the North Fork of Beaver Creek is one of them. Dead Fish and Leslie Run, Bull Creek. That's a portion of the North Fork Beaver Creek. And so a lot of these smaller tributaries that they're going to go down into the Ohio River, and that actually speaks to an even larger problem that we've been having. So there are a lot of train derailments, and especially in this area. Back in November, there were 2 significant ones.
Mm-hmm.
First one being the one from Toronto, Ohio, and that's where they just spilled just pure straight up garbage into the Ohio River already.
And that was in Jennifer County, correct? Ohio?
Jefferson County.
Yep.
Yes. And this is all from the company Norfolk Southern. And I'm deeply concerned. And, when you see people, flying around and taking private jets to other companies to talk about, like, if you're really concerned about the environment, you don't need to take private planes. You could just look at what we have going on here and our crumbling infrastructure and train tracks and things that need to be repaired, because this is just awful. If you guys saw the pictures of just the garbage in the water, that's the real environmentalism that I'm concerned about. And then another story, another train derailment that no one's really talking about. So that one was in November. This was another one from November of 2022. We had approximately 16 train cars derail in Ravenna Township. These 3 are all within about an hour of each other. But the one that was disturbing was we almost had, with this one in Ravenna, we were just a breath away from another East Palestine situation. And they're not even really reporting that in the news.
And again, it's North Southern or Norfolk Southern train.
Yes, another Norfolk Southern train. And when you read this news article, the way that they are reporting on it, well, they say that it's 16 rail cars transporting rock salts and other materials. The other materials that they're not mentioning are hazardous materials. And when you go to the next line, it says officials confirm no hazardous materials were released in the derailment. They're not saying that they were on board. But because, I have close family in the area, and, when you're in small towns like this, everybody knows everybody talks. So I was able to get information from people who work in the emergency services that, yes, this train was absolutely full of hazardous materials, and it could have very easily have been another East Palestine situation. It's just by the grace of God that didn't happen.
Right. And a lot of folks might not know this, but Norfolk Southern is actually backed by the shady people like BlackRock and Vanguard invested companies, and there's a reason why they don't want these things to really make national news and coverage, is because people would be wanting to see these companies pay to repair what they're taking care of, and they try to downplay as much. So what the company does, they send out a statement, kind of like what we see here, right? The statement that's here on this. It says it's estimated 16 cars transporting rock salts and other materials were derailed, officials stated. Officials confirmed that no hazardous materials were released in the derailment. And so they get this PR from the company, and the officials, the county officials or whoever, or government officials, will repeat that same line, and then the reporters repeat that same line, and you're just getting one view of this entire story, where they downplay the entire thing and take no fault of any of this, River.
Right. Well, I think they think that they are a lot more clever than they are. They're trying to hide that. Well, they're hiding it in plain view. They think that they're using very clever language. But one of the benefits of that small town living, though, is that there are no secrets. Right. You might think that you're hiding something, but everybody knows everybody, and people talk.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned at the very beginning, this is happening way more than people realize. And it's an issue with our crumbling infrastructure, which you alluded to at the very beginning. And you had another article that you wanted to share that with us, correct?
Yes, I do. And that article is from The Hill. It's how often do trains derail? More often than you think. So down further in the article, it says from 1990, the first year the BTS began tracking derailments and injuries on a yearly basis, to 2021, there have been 54,539 accidents in which a train derailed. That's an average of 1,704 derailments a year, which just seems crazy. Like, that's a crazy high number, especially when you take into consideration that they are carrying, hazardous waste. Sometimes there's nuclear waste, just general garbage, things that you don't want out in the environment. But I guess one of the things, though, you kind of have to be aware of, because there's a lot of fake news that's coming out with this story as well, or things that, I definitely don't have any, I don't believe a lot of the things that are coming out.
Right.
And because I have people who are very close to the situation, I can just go in and monitor and talk to them and see what somebody who has like boots on the ground is actually saying, somebody who's there like in the thick of things. So yeah, one of the issues, though, is that people are saying, oh, well, there was just a train derailment, over in I think it was Texas.
Right. Yeah.
And if we're looking at close to 2,000 train derailments a year, there's going to be derailments, every single day, like multiple derailments every day. So
yeah, especially if you're averaging 1,500 or 1,700 a year.
Yeah. So we need to maybe calm down about just the number. I mean, just understand that the number is normal. It's alarming, but it is normal. But I don't think that there's a greater conspiracy with that. I mean, outside of, we need to fix our infrastructure.
Right.
and maybe have the brakes updated on these trains. Other things that I've heard, that there's acid rain and people's cars are, being destroyed. That's not true. I've heard that cows up to 100 miles away are dying. Well, I have to say my family members are smaller than cows, and they're very much alive right now. Things that are true most definitely are the small animals that are dying, and the fish that are dying. People's chickens, foxes, just general small wildlife. But it's deeply concerning. And where's Pete Buttigieg? Like
Pete's too busy worrying about how many white guys are in construction right now, so that's what he's worried about. And it's true. I think the larger conspiracy, River, is how quickly they tried to did downplay this, because there was hazard materials that was leaked in this instance here. Well, River, I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us some inside stuff that's happening down in that area that we may not be getting, and of course highlighting some of the other things that are also that has happened recently, and of course how frequently this is happening around the country. All of good information for us to be able to have, and at least to be able to come to a better understanding of what's of how terrible and how corroded our infrastructure actually is in this country right now. We are on the cusp of a third world nation state, the way we're going right now. So River, I do appreciate it. If you guys want to check out all of River's work, I'll go ahead and leave some links in the description down below. You can go check her out. She has some great stuff over on her channel. Very talented lady, and she does wonderful stuff. I think you guys would really enjoy her sense of humor. So, so River, thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and of course, make sure you hit that share button. Share the information, help get the information out to more and more people. That's how we're able to help combat against the mainstream media, where they will just gloss over and say, "Well, there was no hazard materials on the train," but also there are no hazard materials that leaked onto anything else.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys' support. Don't forget, again, hit that like button on the way out, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit later. I hope you all have a great day.